Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. We have an explosive match on our hands. Aryna Sabalenka versus Jelena Ostapenko in the WTA Stuttgart final. This should be a very entertaining final. There's not going to be many long rallies, even though it's on clay. Both these players possess incredible power and they've got huge games, whether it be off serve or from the back of the court. And of course, they have a tennis IQ and prowess about their makeup as well. Before we get into it though, remember to that like button, do subscribe if you're new, and do leave a rating or review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Okay, let's get into it. So, the head-to-head is actually 3-0 in favour of Sabalenka. They've only played once on clay, which was last year in Rome, and Sabalenka won 6-2, 6-4. We are going to get into the tactics. Before we do, I'm just going to very briefly touch upon who they've played so far en route to the final, and then we'll break it down tactically, and ultimately I'll give you guys my prediction. So, Sabalenka. She has been very solid throughout the whole week. Only played a couple of matches though, because Potapova was a walkover in her first match. Then played Elise Mertens, beat her 6-4, 6-1, a former doubles partner for Aryna as well. Then beat Jasmine Paolini in a tight 2-set match, 7-5, 6-4. Jasmine playing some good tennis, beat Coco Gauff in the quarterfinals as well in straight sets. So clearly confident coming into the one against Sabalenka, but not to be for the Italian. For Ostapenko, she's looked really good. Got a walkover eventually against Yastremska, but had taken the first set. Then beat Emma Navarro in 3 sets. Then we had the match that I'm sure a lot of people would have tuned into against Iga Swiatek. Now, she'd never played Iga on clay, and despite the head-to-head being 5-0, because she'd never played her on clay, there was a lot of question marks around how her usual game plan would hold up, and the answer was very well, because she beat her in 3 sets and took the head-to-head now to 6-0, which is unbelievable. Then she played Alexandrova, and Alexandrova has been playing some really good tennis herself. Beat Mira Andreeva earlier in the tournament, who has been one of the best players of 2025 so far. Beat her 6-4, 6-4, and Ostapenko has been serving really well, in my opinion. She's hit at least 5 aces in every match she's completed this week, which is, very impressive. And she's really good for me, has Ostapenko. Sabalenka's looked her usual impressive self, I think. It's fair to say. But, she's played half the amount of matches that Ostapenko has en route to the finals. So not as much to go on. In terms of styles, well, Sabalenka's got the biggest serve, we know that, but both have, as we've just mentioned, ace-hitting ability. I think with Ostapenko, she has a pretty weak second serve, weaker than even Sabalenka's. So that's something to just bear in mind, because I think Sabalenka's going to be taking that second serve really, I would say, really early on the baseline, if not inside the baseline, which we saw in that Rome match when she was taking some second serves inside the baseline, really being destructive with the backhand and forehand return to get Ostapenko on the back foot straight away. We know that Ostapenko on the back foot is not going to win a lot of points. So that's what Sabalenka is all about, trying to be aggressive, take time away from Ostapenko, force her to go for too much or too big from the back of the court, or potentially just make errors because she's being rushed. And that's something that she did really well against Iga. But the problem with Sabalenka is that Sabalenka possesses the same, if not potentially better firepower from the back of the court, especially than Ostapenko. On serve is quite prominent, I think, because Sabalenka may not hit as many aces as Ostapenko per match, but there's a lot of unreturnables in her matches, and she's very clever, I think, about where she places it. Her first strike tennis is also very good, and I've been impressed with that. Something that Ostapenko had a lot of success with in the match in Rome was actually a slice serve out wide from the due side, then open up the court And then we know she's a clean striker of a tennis ball, so just went down the line with the forehand, gave herself a lot of margin, and yeah, Sabalenka wasn't able to then retrieve that second shot. On the forehand and backhand side, I think both players are very solid off both. I would argue that Sabalenka's backhand return is better than her forehand return, and actually she is more natural, I think, with the backhand. The forehand is a massive weapon, but I think there's clearly been some work done and tweaks done on that wing, and rightly so, I would imagine. For Ostapenko, look, I mean, she has incredible hitting ability of both wings. The serve is not quite as big as Sabalenka's, but it can be very effective, especially when she's in rhythm, which she has been this week. So let's see. Let's see how this one plays out. I think the other thing that Sabalenka did really well in Rome was actually employ the drop shot and the slice backhand, which gave Ostapenko some issues, because Ostapenko feeds off rhythm, and if she's able to play against someone who's giving her the same ball every single time, she can anticipate it a lot easier, plant her feet quickly, or quicker even, and then be really destructive, even from the other side of the net. However, that hasn't been the case, so I would say that for me, the drop shot and the backhand slice will be pretty key for Sabalenka to change up the rhythm, change up the pace. And I think she's going to win again. So I think it'll be 4-0 to Sabalenka. I just think with the serve, I feel like she can match, if not hit harder than Jelena's baseline prowess, and on top of the added variety of a drop shot and now the backhand slice, Sabalenka is becoming a more and more complete player, and a real testament, I think, to the #1 ranking, because she works extremely hard, from what I know and from what I've seen, when she is in a tennis bubble. For Ostapenko, look, I'm hoping she proves me wrong here, but I think Sabalenka is going to win, and potentially even, I think maybe in 3 sets. I think Ostapenko is playing too well to not take any, and I wouldn't be that surprised if she wins it. I'm going to go with Sabalenka in 3 sets. Let me know in the comment section below who you picked and why. Thanks very much, guys. Stay safe and well. We'll see you on the next video.